Leaders don't wait for opportunities. They make them. If you want success, put yourself in a situation to succeed. Now is the time. Hesitate and lose the opportunity. Today, you've taken a bold step. Seize the moment. Harness the power. Win market share and multiply your profits. And to be the best. Your opportunity is now.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Street Pricer and eBay Get Your Prices Right introduction webinar. We're very happy you would join us and taking the time to join us for this important and extremely timely program. Now, my name is Bruce Markowitz. I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. And in just a minute, we will begin, but I would like to take care of just a few pre-conference notes. At any time, you can ask a question, and we encourage you to ask questions throughout the course of today's webinar. You can do that by simply launching the Q&A pod, typing your question into the question box, and clicking the send button. We'll do our very best to get to as many of your questions today as possible. Also, please note that you'll be in control of your volume for today's program, so please take care of controlling it by your computer system. And finally, your microphones will be muted throughout the course of today's program. Now, you probably, this is the intro webinar. This is the Get Your Prices Right webinar. We're also going to be holding one, and we'll tell you more about it at the end and how you can sign up for it, which is the advanced webinar, the Advanced Price Optimization Workshop, an extremely important program that you'll find very beneficial as you continue with the StreetPricer platform. And we'll tell you more about that at the conclusion of today's webinar. Just give you a quick overview of what's going to be happening over the course of the next 45 minutes. Real quick, we'll do some introductions when we're done here. And then there's going to be an overview of the Get Your Prices Right pilot program by Lester Dorman with eBay. Then Carty Chung, the founder of StreetPricer, is going to come on and talk to you a little bit more about the price optimization and how to utilize StreetPricer, and we'll provide to you a live demo. Lori Wilson, who's the head of customer service with StreetPricer, will come on and tell you a little bit more about what customer service can do and provide to you. We'll then address some of your important questions that are being submitted. And then after that, Carty's going to come back on, talk to you a little bit more about some case studies and the success of some companies with StreetPricer. And finally, Lori will come back on and give you an idea of what resources are available to you to make you successful and what your next steps should be. So let's get started with some introductions right now. First, I'd like to introduce Carty Chung, who is the founder of StreetPricer. Hello, Carty.
Hello, Bruce. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to see you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Carty Chung. I'm the founder of StreetPricer. I founded the company about 3 years ago. I've been an eBay seller for about 15 years. And about 10 years ago, I needed to write a program to manage my sales and to try to beat my competitor. And I jokingly called it SLD, which stands for Search, Lock, and Destroy. I think it's done a good job.
Great, Carty. Thanks very much. We're looking forward to having you back in just a little while. Also joining us is Lori Wilson, who's the head of the StreetPricer customer service. Hello, Lori.
Hey, Bruce. Thanks. As Bruce said, I am Lori Wilson, and I am the head of customer service here at StreetPricer. I've worked very close with StreetPricer for over a year now, and I've watched it grow tremendously into this amazing tool that we're going to have a team to help you with from start to finish.
Great, thanks, Lori. And you'll also see we have a great listing of eBay representatives as well as part of the StreetPricer eBay team. And Lester Dorman joins us today. So Lester, how are you?
Hey guys, hi, I'm doing great, thanks. I'm Lester. I work at eBay. I'm in the Seller Experience Engineering organization. I manage a lot of our strategic technical programs involving our selling tools. Been at eBay for a little over 10 years. I work out of our corporate offices near San Jose in California, but as you can see right now, I'm sitting out in the back deck of my house in this nice sunny day here near San Francisco Airport. I've been home for over a month now, have pretty much adjusted to this new working style, and glad that you guys could join us today. I hope this hasn't disrupted your businesses too much. I've been at eBay, as I said, for over 10 years. I really love working at eBay, especially in the selling engineering organization, which allows me to literally help connect sellers with their buyers around the world. And we strive to constantly improve our selling tools for you. I work directly with the product groups that build those selling tools. We're always looking for ways to improve your experience. So hence this effort with StreetPricer. We know as sellers that you're looking for ways to reach more buyers, to drive more sales, to increase your profits, and also manage your inventory. And this particular pilot program that we're doing with StreetPricer is an opportunity for you to access the capability to automatically adjust your prices for a free period of 4 months. And we do strongly encourage you to participate in this pilot program. So if you have any questions, of course, you got the Q&A ability in the webinar, and we'd be happy to answer all those questions about the pilot program for you today. So back to you, Bruce.
Thanks very much, Lester. Greatly appreciate it. And now what I'd like to do is get to the heart of our webinar here, and I'm going to turn it over to Cardi Chung, founder of StreetPricer, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the StreetPricer tool and provide you a live demo. Cardi.
Oh, thank you, Bruce. Hi, everyone again. So StreetPricer, it's a software. It is web-based. You access it with your browser. It's a bit like Seller Hub. So you use Seller Hub to manage most aspects of your eBay store, such as your listings and shipping. You would use StreetPricer to manage your sales. So StreetPricer lets you see what's happening in your store from a sales perspective. It lets you see your competition, and it lets you see what you're selling and what is not selling. And we look at your pricing. We suggest the pricing to you either based on your competitors or based on your sales velocity, which is the rate of selling, how fast, how slowly you're selling, taking into account your price, the price rules set by you, and also the minimum and maximum prices. The outcome is when sellers use StreetPricer, they usually get more sales because the prices are competitive. But at the same time, they get to make more profits because quite often you see opportunities that you actually can put your prices up. So it is a tool that can let you achieve higher sales and more profit and with less inventory. I think the best way to go is to actually let me show you a live demo. There are 3 easy steps to set up StreetPricer. The number one is that you have to look at your business, and very quickly you can form a view whether competitor-based repricing or velocity-based repricing is good for your business. And then you set up an auto price rule, and then you set up your minimum and maximum prices, and we're done. So let's have a look at a demo. I think the best way to go is for me to take you through our dashboard. Let's start with the dashboard. Oh, I just clicked the wrong button. Okay, there we go. So we have a dashboard here. The dashboard, it's got all the big numbers at the top. It basically tells you at a glance how your store is running. So over here on the left-hand side, it shows the size of your store, price above your competitors, meaning that those items, you're more expensive than your competitors. Items at floor, meaning that for those items, they're at their floor prices already, so you can't go any lower. And then price revisions, so we've done X number of price revisions in the last 24 hours. And then over here, the sales overview. So if I was running my eBay store, I look at it all the time because it tells me the trending of the sales in my store on a weekly basis in both revenue and quantity terms. Now, this graph on the right-hand side, I look at it all the time. I watch it like a hawk because it tells me at a glance what's selling and what is not selling in my store. The ones in red are the ones that are not selling, 0 sold. So the ones in orange are the ones that I'm selling at an okay pace, that is like between 1 to 5. And the ones in green are the ones that I'm selling quite fast. So I'm selling more than 5. So straight away, I can have a look at my store in the last 30, 60, 90 days, what's happening, 2,420 items there. I haven't sold it for 3 months. What's going on? If I click, it would take me to the items that are not selling. And at the same time, so these 1,000 items here, or these 151 items here, those are my fastest moving items. And well, my instinct tells me I've got to make sure that they're always priced competitively away from paying competitors. So we have this number down here called suspects and competitors. So let's have a look and to see what we mean by suspects and competitors. So you'll be spending most of your time on this screen here called eBay listings. This screen allows you to manage your eBay store items, and it allows you to pick the groups that you want to work with. So this filter here, you can pick out all the ones that you have suspects or competitors, or with keywords, without keywords, whether they're priced higher or lower than your competitors. So all the columns here, they're sortable. You can move them around, you can sort them, you can turn them off. My 3 favorite columns are the ones that show the number of suspects, number of competitors, and the quantity sold. Because if I click, it will sort, and that tells me that this is a list of my fastest moving items from the top down. And then over here, I have the number of competitors and suspects. Now, we only auto price against competitors, only against your competitors, who are the confirmed competition. We don't auto price against the suspects. Now, if you have a look at the suspects, here's a number here. If I click on the number, it will take me to the suspects. So this is what we call a suspect screen. On the left-hand side, that's your item. On the right-hand side is what we call a force of darkness. Okay, so those are the ones that our radar has been able to pick up, but we're not exactly sure. So if we're not exactly sure, we don't take any action. So if you say, okay, oh, yep, I compete with this item. And just hypothetically, no, it's the wrong item. I don't compete with that item. So for the ones that you click compete, our system will start locking onto this item relative to yours, and we'll start, if you have an auto price rule set up, and depending on how it is set up, we'll start auto pricing against that item. If you click don't compete, we'll let it go and we'll never bother you again. So that's how our system works. And then I know what you're thinking. You'll be thinking, wow, that looks good, but what if I have hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of items? Do I have to do this every time? The answer is no. So we have a feature called auto lock. Auto lock says, okay, we've got a suspect here, that's well and good. Let's have a look at the part numbers. Let's have a look at the UPC, the MPN, and compare that against yours. And if the numbers are the same, okay, let's further look at the pricing. And if the price is close enough, then we can automatically tag that item as a competitor. That's our auto lock feature, and that saves a lot of time. The auto lock feature it's under settings, radar and auto lock. And over here. So as you can see, okay, so the default is on. We automatically identify a suspect as a competitor upon data matching on these fields, subject to a price range filter. So this is the filter that controls how wide or how narrow do you want a tolerance to be. So if we go back to the suspect screen, which means that the suspects, for the suspects that are still there, that means they're not auto-lockable to those criteria. It will either be that there is no product code match. So in this case, as you can see, the UPC, they are different to, there's no UPC on our left-hand side. And also, if there was a product data match, the prices are way off. So it's certainly way outside of the 20% tolerance. So let's get back to the listings page where you'll be spending most of your time. So at this point, you can probably work that out. What if it's good if I have competitors? What if I don't have competitors? So you're absolutely right. So the first step is that you have to kind of make a very quick assessment and ask yourself a question. The question is, do you sell mainstream branded new items? So if you sell mainstream branded new items, chances are you will have competitors. There will be other sellers out there selling exactly the same items as yours, possibly with the same photo, and possibly the pricing will be very close. And in that case, you most certainly need to go on our competitor-based repricing. Now, for other sellers who are selling their own brands, unbranded, or collectibles or fashion, you probably want to go with our velocity-based repricing. So the next step is to set up the price rule. Is how would you like to compete against? If you have competitors. If you don't, what do you do? So to set up the price rule, it's very easy. You come to this settings section, click on auto price. And our system is rule-based. So you can set up as many rules as you need for your eBay store. You can have one price rule for one product group and another price rule for another product group. To set up a price rule, it's very simple. So you give it a name, you decide on how often you want to auto price, and you decide on when you want to auto price. So the default is midnight, but some sellers would say they would pick a certain time. I might want to say I want auto price at 7 p.m. because I know people, I know my customers, 7 p.m. after dinner, when the kids are watching TV, they start buying. So I'm going to auto price at a certain time. And then these three tabs down there, the first one is upon competitors. Now, if you do competitor-based repricing, remember, if you sell mainstream branded new items, you would come to here and pick how you would like to compete against your competitors. The matching lowest is the default for most sellers. But if you decided that you want to be aggressive, okay, you can say, I'm going to price below the lowest competitor by 1 cent. That's how you would set it up. Or you might say, let's not go by 1 cent, let's go by 2.5%. That's the way you would set it up. So that's if you want to have an aggressive strategy. Some sellers actually say, I don't want to be the cheapest. I don't want to pick a fight. I don't want to start a price war. Okay, let's hover above our competition. So in that case, you would say, I'm going to price above the lowest competitor by 1 cent. That works, in many cases as well. We have other filters down there. You can choose to auto price only against a list of sellers, because some sellers would say, yeah, I have lots and lots of competitors, but I only care about 5. I only want to auto price against those 5 sellers. In that case, you would tick this box here, and we have an option for you to go rounding to the nearest $9 or the nearest 99 cents or 95 cents. So that's when you have competitors. When you don't have competitors for that item, you have basically 3 options. Option number 1 is obviously do nothing. You can leave your price unchanged. Second option is to switch to velocity-based repricing, which we will cover very shortly. And then finally, you can choose to move your item to your ceiling price. And we always have a floor and a ceiling price for every item. We would like to see a floor and ceiling price in the system. In fact, if we don't see a floor price and we don't touch that item, because we don't want to lose money on your behalf. We want to make sure that you're profitable. Ceiling price is just as important because you don't want to accidentally overprice your item. Okay, so this velocity thing. So if you want to go with velocity-based repricing, if you come and take this option, that means you're not looking at your competitors anymore. That means you're saying, I either don't have competitors or I don't care. Sometimes sellers would say, I don't really care. I'm just selling. Yeah, I have competitors, but my photos are way better. I do bundling, so I throw in an extra charger or extra battery. I don't care. So with velocity-based repricing, once you tick, we don't look at your competitors. We look at your sales velocity. So we look at your sales velocity either every week, every 3 days, every day. You tell us how often. And if you're not selling, that means 0. You can choose to adjust your price down by a percentage. And obviously, like nothing gets below your floor price. And then if you're selling at an okay pace, at 1 to 5 in this case, you can say, I'm going to leave it either unchanged, or if it's selling, I'm just going to move it up a little bit. Okay. And if I'm selling really well, I might want to up it by 5% over the time period. So that's our velocity-based repricing. And then over here, we have a feature that allows you to revert to competitor-based repricing when your quantity falls below a certain number. So for example, you might want to, you might have purchased in bulk 500 units. So for the first 400 units, you want to go velocity. You just want your money back, for cash flow back into the business. And then in the last 100, then you want to care about your competitors. So that's the price rule. After setting up your price rule, you come here to tell StreetPricer where would you like to send the price updates to. Most sellers would tick this box, which says sending updates to eBay. Now, if you tick this box, we will change your pricing on eBay for you automatically. Always subject to the floor and the ceiling prices, because again, always we never go below the floor price and we never go above the ceiling price. Some sellers would say, don't change my pricing, just send me the price suggestions by way of an email. I'll look at it when I'm ready in my own time. That works too, but most sellers choose this option. So we covered competitor versus velocity. We covered the order price rules. Finally, we talked about all the time the floor and the ceiling prices. So if you come to this eBay listings tab, okay, so every item, obviously you can enter a floor and a ceiling price for your items. So there are several ways you can do it here one at a time. It's okay if you want to do it one at a time, but if you want to do it in bulk, we have a couple of options. So one option is that you can download a file. We use the industry standard format, the CSV. You download a file. Come on, thank you. Okay, we download a file. You choose the columns you want to download, the floor price and the ceiling price there. And then once you click download, it will open up into an Excel file, and then you populate the column with your floor and the ceiling prices. And then once you're ready, you come back to here, you push this, you click this button called upload items, you send the file back to our system, and you can update your floor and ceiling prices in bulk. So that's one way. But the easiest way is to actually come here and use our auto floor and auto ceiling feature. Okay, I love that feature. It is so quick. So if I come here, all you have to do is to pick a percentage below your current price. So if you say, let's say in this case 5%. So if your item is going for $100, then 5% below means, okay, $95 is now my floor price. So on the other hand, the ceiling price, you can also pick a percentage, and in this case, 10%. So if I'm selling the item for $100, $110 is now my ceiling price. So once you've picked your percentage, you click apply now, done, the job is done. So I'll go back to the dashboard. So very quickly before I finish. So back to the dashboard, now you know about competitor versus velocity, you know about the price rules, you know about floor and ceiling prices. Now these charts will make more sense to you. So, okay, so this bar here, it tells you that's about a third of my items in my store, they have suspects. And about half of my items, they have competitors. And I'll be thinking, what happened to the other half? Okay, so, and this bar here is the number of items you have, what we call GTIN or keywords. GTIN is the product code. That will be your part numbers, your UPC, the manufacturer's part number, and if you're in automotive, your IPN, all the ones with part number. Because with either the part numbers or the keywords, we can find suspects and competitors for you. Now, if you don't have keywords and if you don't have those part numbers, there's not a lot we can do. So quite often, I would come here to look at the ones without. So 260 items, they don't have any product data, they don't have any keywords, and therefore, there won't be any competitors. Okay. And then over here, that shows you the bar, the number of items you have floor prices and the ones that you don't, and the items that you're putting it on sales velocity, repricing, or competitor-based repricing. And then finally, at a glance, I know these items price above competitors. They're more expensive. Okay. Now, I might do it by choice. It could be a deliberate decision. I don't want to be the cheapest. That's perfectly okay, but we're just showing you that those items, you're more expensive than your known competitors. And for these items, you're undercutting the market. So which is, There are other features and settings. I think the best way is to come to our next workshop or contact Laurie for customer service. I think at this point, I'll hand it back to Bruce. Hello, Bruce.
Great. Thanks very much, Cardi. Greatly appreciate it. Very informative. And right now, as Cardi had mentioned, you can always reach out to customer service. So that's a very good timing to now turn it over to Lori Wilson, who is the head of customer service. Hello, Lori.
Hey, Bruce. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. So I am the head of customer service, as mentioned before, and I actually would like to tell you a little bit about what to expect whenever you sign up for a subscription with us, customer service-wise. So the first thing that I would like to mention is that our primary support team is actually based in the United States. We did try to outsource in the past, but we found that having a support team who is familiar with eBay selling and their practices was the advantage that we needed. So all of our staff actually have eBay selling experience also. Our US team is on the East Coast, which helps to give us a wide variety of available hours. We typically cover around 18 hours per day and work 5 to 6 days per week. This also helps our average response time to be under 3 hours typically, while supporting customers from over 25 countries. Our emails and messages that come in will be responded back to by email or by phone call if necessary or requested. And we also have the ability to do one-on-one screen sharing using the same application that we're in now, the Zoom room. We have daily Q&A sessions at 10 a.m. It's Monday through Friday, and they last for about an hour. You can join us and ask any questions you may have to help get started. So in order to join the Q&A sessions, you'll be getting an email from Leo, and you'll see the blue book Q&A button right there in the middle. And when you click that button, it's going to take you to another page where you can just put in your name and email address and pick a time, and we'll send you a link whenever it's time to join. Once you've got your account set up and you can log into StreetPricer, you'll notice this blue help button at the bottom of every single page within your account. When you click this button, you're going to get some helpful articles and instructions related to whatever the page is that you're actually viewing at that point in time. But don't worry if you get stuck, because all you have to do is click the Contact Us button at the bottom, and you can send us a message with your name and email address already pre-filled in for you from your account, and let us know what's going on. The message will come to my support team immediately, and we'll be able to handle it in a timely manner. And I would also recommend that you add some screenshots, because that will help us to determine what's going on, what errors you see, and it can streamline the support a lot easier for you and get a better response. And that's about it for me. Thanks, Bruce. Handing it back to you.
Great, Lori. Thanks very much. So right now, you got a lot of information coming at you. Let's kind of open this up to some of our Q&A that we currently have. And we encourage you to continue utilizing the Q&A pod to ask your questions. First question we're going to take here is from Rick. And that question, Cardi, this question is for you. Is this a race to the bottom?
Oh, thanks, Rick. Is it a race to the bottom? Sometimes, about 50% of the times. Let me give an example. So in a price competitive situation, sure, you'd like to reduce your prices to be competitive, but very often, because we do millions of repricing every month, and we see the stats, and the number of ups versus downs are there about 50-50. Because if your competitor is, if they're out of stock, or if they're no longer selling the item, or they might have moved their prices actually higher. So in that case, you want to be the first person to know about it. So it is really ups versus down 50-50. So sometimes, but definitely not all the time. Thank you, Bruce.
Great. Thanks very much. Our next question is from Phil. Lester, this question is for you. Does StreetPricer work with Promotions Manager?
Yes, it does. There's a setting in Promotions Manager that allows you to select whether or not you want third-party apps update pricings of listings under Promotions Manager. So yes.
Great, thank you. Lori, this question's for you. It's from Anita. What if my competitor also uses StreetPricer?
Well, it can happen. There can be competitors both using StreetPricer at the same time, but it really depends on how you use StreetPricer individually. The settings are different, your floor and ceiling prices are different, the way you identify with each other is different. So the outcome is dependent on how each of you would use StreetPricer individually. It's like two race car drivers driving the same car. It depends on the skill and it depends on the day.
Thank you very much. Another question is from Kassam. And Cardi, this question is for you. Could you just help to identify a little bit more the difference between a suspect and a competitor?
Oh, thank you. That's a good question. So suspects, when our radar scans, so when we scan, we always start with your product data. So anything UPC, EAN, part number, and keywords if you supply to the system. So we look for items on eBay and we bring them in. We always firstly put them in the suspect bucket. So we do not do anything. They can literally just sit there forever. So some sellers would say, how come you're not auto pricing? I've got so many. Hey, but they are suspects, not competitors. You actually have to identify. And remember that process, compete, don't compete, compete, don't compete. You actually have to manually turn them into a competitor. We built that mechanism because we don't want you to accidentally auto price against someone who's not your competitor. We don't want to get a false positive. So we rather be cautious and be on the safe side. So you can go into an item and manually tag each one, or use an auto log. So if the product codes are the same within the same price range, then you do it. The best way to manage your suspects, by the way, is to actually go from the eBay listings tab, and next to your item, click on that number. Because if you click on that number, you're only looking at the suspects for that item. It's much easier on the eyes. You can focus better. Because if you click on the big suspect screen, you're going to see hundreds or thousands of suspects for all sorts of different products. It will be really hard. So go to start with eBay listings, and then click on the suspect number next to it, manually tag it, or if you have part numbers, use auto log. So that's the best way. So remember, we only auto price against competitors, not suspects. Suspect is just there. They sit there and they do nothing.
Great, Cardi. Thanks very much. It's also nice to have that little bird in the background, kind of give a little levity to everything. I think I still want to hear a bird in the background there.
Yeah.
Our next question is for actually for Lester. This is from Amit. Does StreetPricer work with promoted listings, and can I set up different ad rates for different price ranges?
So first, I think the birds are probably my fault, since I'm sitting outside and we have trees all the way up the back of the hill here.
Yeah.
Yes, promoted listings will work exactly the same. You're talking about two different pricing schemes here. So StreetPricer only updates your item-based prices, and you'll use the promoted listings tool in Seller Hub to set up your rules and your ad rates. So they kind of complement each other.
Great. Our next question is from Michael. I sell both branded new items and collectibles. Can I use both competitor and velocity, for example, on different items? Cardi?
Oh, thanks, Michael. That's a great question. Of course you can. You set up different price rules. In that case, you would set up one price rule for your branded items, and then other items for your collectible items. And if you add the eBay listings tab, if you scroll to the right-hand side, you will see a little drop down. So if you have set up, say, 2 or 3 price rules, you can select which price rules for that item. So you can choose which price rule to apply at the item level. And you can do it one at a time on the screen, or you can download an item CSV. So you can get everything all on Excel and then choose 1, 2, or 3 different price rule numbers and upload it back to our system. So the question is, yes, you can. And it is very easy. And most sellers typically would have 2 price rules. I think sometimes 3, maybe more, but most sellers will have 2 price rules. Yeah.
Great, thank you. The next question is from Chris. And the question is, with a flat file upload, can I match on my SKU custom label instead of eBay item number? With that, I can write an SQL query from my database to create floor and ceiling prices. Cardi?
I'll take that question. Yep. Yes, you can. Okay. Many sellers, they have the SKU number, and some have unique SKU numbers. Some have actually non-unique SKU numbers. They have the same SKU numbers, but you may have multiple eBay listings, all reference off that SKU number. So if you upload a flat file, you provide the SKU number and your floor and ceiling prices, good. And if you have, let's say, 5 listings under the same SKU numbers, all 5 listings will be updated with that information. So the short answer is yes, we can, and we can handle multiple listings per SKU. That's a great question. Thank you.
Great. The next question is from Carl. Can you also do bulk floor to ceiling by price versus percentage? I'll give that one back to Cardi as well. Can you also do bulk floor to ceiling by price versus percentage?
Yes, we can. So if you go to auto floor and auto ceiling, instead of that, that 5%, there's a drop down. You can actually choose either is it 5% or $5. So that's the drop down you can control. Yeah. So the short answer is yes. And I call it lazy floor and lazy ceiling because I'm lazy, right? That just a couple of clicks and that's job done. I love it. Yeah.
Great. Next question for Lester. Is this for fixed price listings or also auction listings?
Just fixed price. Just fixed price listings.
Okay, great. Next question, Cardi, what are my options at the end of the 4-month pilot?
Oh, okay. Thank you. The options for after the 4 months. So during the 4 months, there's absolutely no obligation, no catch, no charge. Don't need your credit card. At the end of the 4 months, if you like our software enough, you can choose to subscribe and become a paying customer. We'll be, we'll be most happy. Or you can actually go onto our free plan. We have a free plan. It is free forever. Again, it's no catch. You can pick any 10 items to auto price, and you can just keep using it. Some users use our free plan.
Fantastic. We have time for one more question, and that question is from Michael. How does scan work on eBay listings page? Does a scan run periodically, or do I need to force the scan? For example, if I update my keywords, when does a new scan happen? Cardi?
Oh, thank you. So we scan your store at the rate of 10,000 of your SKUs per day, which means that if you have, let's say if you're under 10,000 SKUs, 10,000 listings, we will basically scan it every day. That happens automatically. So you don't have to do anything. We just do it, which means that if you have if you have a competitor, they put out a whole bunch of listings today, you'll know about it tomorrow. So that's for 10,000 SKUs. If you have more than 10,000 SKUs, let's say if you have 20,000 SKUs, so we will scan 10,000 today and 10,000 tomorrow. So it will take 2 days to go through your inventory. You can, if you scroll to the right-hand side on the eBay listings tab for the item, there's a little button called scan. If you don't want to wait until the next 24 hours, you can actually click that button, and that would actually trigger a scan job immediately. It usually happens or finish within 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. And you also raised a good point. So every time you change the keywords or you've uploaded something different, our system would detect, there's something new, something different. We better do a scan now. So that also will trigger a scan automatically as well. So in that case, you don't have to wait for the next 24-hour cycle. That's a good question. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And actually, we're going to grab one last question here before we move on and talk about some of the success stories with StreetPricer. Questions from Pat for Lester. can I still accept best offers on my listing if the price is managed by StreetPricer? You're muted, Lester.
Sorry, got to keep the birds out of the conversation here. No, StreetPricer cannot update the price of a listing if it's on best offer. It treats it very similar to an auction.
Great. Thanks very much. And thanks for all the great questions. If we didn't get a chance to answer your question specifically, we're going to tell you more at the end, how you can contact customer service or how you can actually reach out to StreetPricer and ask any questions that you may have moving forward. So let's continue right now, and I'm going to turn it back over to Cardi, who's going to talk about more of the case studies and the successes you can find with StreetPricer. Cardi.
Thank you, Bruce. So I've prepared a couple of case studies to share with you. The first case study is from health and beauty. So in this case, they have a very high volume. It is ultra competitive. The competitors, they have very kind of subtle differences between the definition of new, and some are new with tag, without tag, and new is a tester, or new is a sample. So we do competitor-based repricing for them exclusively because it is ultra competitive, and we set up a very precise price range filter, and we use keywords to help them single out only the ones that they want to compete against. But the end result is, as you can see, they have very high turnover. The inventory is managed extremely well. The red bar is very low, so hardly any dead stock. It's a fantastic business. Second case study is from automotive. So with automotive, they have their own set of part numbers for the industry. Most of them use a number called IPN, which stands for interchange part number. So we implemented scanning and auto locking using that part number and with the manufacturer part numbers. With automotive, they usually accumulate quite a large inventory because a car can be 5 years old, can be 20, can be 30 years old. So over time, they've accumulated a lot of inventory. So in this account, it is pretty much 50-50. So some of the items, if they are fast-moving competitive items, they're on a competitor-based repricing. For their old stock, aged stock, they put it on velocity, and it's a good implementation as well. So the last case study is from sporting goods. Now, this it's quite unique because they sell very expensive items. They sell not very many of them. In fact, you can see the red bar is very high. So they have more than 10,000 items, but only a very, very small portion of the items are actually doing the turnover and doing the heavy lifting. So because of that, we put all of the items, the fastest moving items, on what we call a hot list. So the hot list items here, once your items are on the hot list, they get auto priced every 4 hours. So they follow the market dynamics really closely. And also because the items are very expensive and they buy from a manufacturer. So we have a mechanism for them to feed the fresh pricing into our system daily. So they want to make sure that they're always profitable and things are on the hot list. So those are the 3 typical case studies. I think I better hand it back to Laurie to go over the resources and next steps for you. Hi, Laurie.
Thanks, Cardi. I appreciate that. So the next time that we meet again, we'll have another webinar called the Advanced Price Optimization Workshop. We have one tomorrow, actually, and it's a little bit more hands-on. We'll help you to analyze your business and competitors and set your profit with floor and ceiling prices and how to use keywords and multivariations. So it's a little bit more advanced, and you can have some more complicated questions answered. Then we have another resource, which is our video channel. We have a lot of really cool and informative videos that can show you step-by-step tutorials on how to do practically everything within StreetPricer. We have our daily live Q&A that I mentioned earlier, which is at 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific time, and it runs Monday through Friday. And then we have the one-on-one sessions where if you just need a little bit more hands-on with us individually, we're more than happy to take you and give you a session, just us looking at your account. And you don't have to remember all of these because you'll be getting some follow-up information after this webinar today.
Great, Lori. Thanks very much. And just before you go, a couple quick reminders that you will be, as Lori mentioned, you will be receiving an email at the conclusion of this webinar. And it's important that email will have not only some important information in it, but also a link that you can sign up for the Advanced Price Optimization Workshop. And we strongly encourage you to participate to really take full advantage of what StreetPricer has to offer for you. Now, on behalf of eBay and StreetPricer, congratulations for being part of this exciting pilot program. Please be sure to reach out to Lori and the StreetPricer customer service team if you should have any questions at all. Now, reminder to do that, once you're logged into your StreetPricer account, you can click on the blue help button to contact customer service at any time. Before we finish, we realize that we've all been challenged with the current state of the US and the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. We want to wish you and your family all the best and that you all stay healthy and safe. Again, thank you for participating, and this does conclude today's webinar.